This is Joshua Hart here for Seconds Out. Delighted today to be joined by former world champion Anthony Crolla via freebets.com. Anthony, first of all, thank you very much for your time today, and how is everything?
Josh, good to see you, mate. No, all good, thank you. Just finished training with the professionals almost. I've got one or two more in the busy stable, and then done till Monday. But no, good week's work, and looking forward what's coming up.
Seems like a very, very busy man as always, Anthony, but we'll dive straight into things. I
Yes,
don't want to take up too much of your time today. Just the other night now, we got the announcement of the full undercard for Usyk versus Fury 2 in December, and it's
yeah,
received a bit of criticism online with people comparing it to the other Riyadh season cards.
yeah.
What do you make of the undercard, first of all?
Um, listen, first of all, the fight that really sticks out for me. I think you know what I'm going to say. Dennis McCann versus Peter McGrail. I think it's an unbelievable fight. I think fair play to both lads taken. I know some people go, I think the money might have something to do with it, but it's still both lads putting it on the line early on in the careers, just being proper fighters. I think it's a fantastic fight, a real 50-50. You can make cases, both fighters. But listen, that aside, there's no denying it's not. It's definitely not as strong as what we've seen from the other Riyadh season undercards. And I think anyone who says that it is probably telling fibs. Do you know what I mean? It's no, it's not as strong as that. But listen, there is some fights on it that could throw up, very good fights. I know Lee McGregor, Isaac Lowe. That could be very entertaining. I think it will be very entertaining. Obviously, the fight I mentioned, though. Then so straight away, if you've got two very good fights, along with the main event, not forgetting the return of Madrimov, who's a very good fighter, that'd be entertaining. So I think it could be very entertaining. It's probably not for some people. The big names probably aren't on it. What they want, but as a boxing fan, there's a few top little trade fights.
One fight I want to get your thoughts on in particular, Moses Tama. He takes on Dempsey McKean.
Yeah.
On paper, it seems like a good step up. What do you make of the fight?
Well, it is on paper, but I'm a massive Moses Summer fan. I've been shouting about that from his days as an amateur. I was on him pretty early as an amateur as well. I think he's a special talent, and I think he's getting moved at the pace a special talent should and would get moved at. Dempsey McKean, obviously, he's a world rated heavyweight. I'm not saying in the top 10, but I'd say could you argue the top 15? Yeah. But I also make Moses a very big favourite, and I think he'll come through it and he'll look good. And I think that'll be the kind of fight where if he does the job on Dempsey McKean, it's a little bit like now you'll start taking me serious. But I think anyone who's anyone will have they'll be looking over the shoulder, thinking, he is coming. It's just how fast he's coming. But if he blows out an opponent like Dempsey McKean, there's going to have to be another step up again, isn't there?
Who would you like to see Moses take on next if he is to get past Dempsey McKean?
Oh, do you know what? That's a good shout. I mean, listen, you talk about there's an unbelievable fight on the card this Saturday. Fabio Wardley, Fraser Clark. You'd happily see him in with the winner. If not, there's I rate him that highly. I would. Although he's only a baby, I'd probably start looking at some of those top 10 heavyweights. I think he's a problem for absolutely anyone, and I think with a bit of maturity, he will be. He'll be the next world heavyweight champion to come out of the UK after obviously Joshua when they finished, I think. But we can't count out Daniel Dubois 'cause he's still young, and I wouldn't rule out a Daniel Dubois Moses Tsuma mega fight in a few years' time. I really wouldn't.
Just talking of Daniel Dubois, Eddie Hearn has quite in an interview this week with us, and he said that rather than going through the rebuilding process with Anthony Joshua again, he wants to dive straight back in to the Dubois rematch. He isn't going to wait around for the Fury Usyk winner. What do you make of that?
Do you know what? Right? Do you know when the fight ended and how it ended and the manner of the fight? Dubois was very dominant for all that fight, other than the 10 seconds before the final shot, final knockdown, knockout. And I thought, if he's to carry on, no. do you have the rebuilding? But I don't believe AJ has that time on his side to start rebuilding. And do you know what? Also, I'll say I think Daniel Dubois is getting better. So I probably think I don't think there's a great time anytime, but probably the best thing is I'm probably doing a bit of a U-turn is to get back in with Daniel Dubois. Um, AJ, listen, he could turn it around. He's put the rematch. He's put wrongs right before. I thought even in the Usyk fight that he didn't. I thought there was improvements, but there's no denying if you go straight in with Daniel Dubois, he's got to start a very big underdog after in the manner of the first fight. Being honest, so yeah, I mean he's probably got to do that, but it's also very high risk because if Daniel Dubois was to do a similar job on Anthony Joshua, it's a little bit like where does he go from here? And then people obviously, oh well, the Fury fight's always there, but that as being realistic, it's not the fight it once was. Probably from both sides, unless Fury wins it back from Usyk in December. But listen, AJ is a huge name. There'll always be big fights throughout there, and people will always come out in huge numbers to watch Anthony Joshua. And listen, you've got to admire it. Some people say it's crazy, but you've got to admire him getting straight back in there with Daniel Dubois.
Daniel Dubois has also come out in an interview that he did with us just the other day now, and he said that rather than waiting around for the winner of Fury Usyk, he also wants to dive straight back in there with Anthony Joshua. Do you feel that's a fair move on Dubois' end?
Well, Dubois, yeah, I think there's a rematch clause, wasn't there? I think there was a rematch clause, so I don't know how much say he'll have in it, but I think he's going to absolutely think, yeah, I'll do it again because I don't think his team will allow him to underestimate Anthony Joshua. I say all the time, so one punch can change anything in boxing, but certainly at heavyweight boxing. But I think in the manner of his, win last time out, I absolutely get why he wants to get the rematch done straight away. He's riding high. He's improving. He's on a great run. I thought even the Usyk fight, obviously which he lost, I thought he didn't get near enough credit for that. I thought he had some really good moments in it, and I think he's improved again. The Jarrell Miller fight, the Hrgovic, and now obviously the Anthony Joshua fight. I think he's only getting better.
What do you think happens in a rematch between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois?
It's again, if there was to fight again, going off last time, I'd struggle for anyone to think, I fancy Anthony Joshua to do a job this time. I do. I think he's capable of doing a job big AJ, of course, but it's got to be a lot more safety first approach, establish his jab, but at the same time, he's got to get the respect of Daniel Dubois. He's got to get the respect of Daniel Dubois, but listen how it was last time. It is hard to look past another Daniel Dubois win.
If it isn't to be Anthony Joshua next for Daniel Dubois for whatever reason, who would you make the leading contender for Daniel Dubois to face next?
The leading contender. Well, there's an eliminator in there between Martin Bacola and is it Kaya Bell?
Yeah, Ajit
Yeah.
Kabayel, yes.
Well, you know what? I've been impressed with him for years. Since I remember him beating Derek over in Monaco. I was really impressed with him. I thought, where's he gone? Just disappeared. And then a few impressive fights since. And I think Martin Bacola was super impressive last time out. So the winner of that will be more than worthy of that fight. Daniel Dubois might want something in between, should have something in between if it wasn't the Anthony Joshua one. So it's like, yeah, who do you go? But I think that's on a boxing term. Listen, might not be the biggest names, but they certainly are getting bigger. And Obercole, he got a lot of love after last time out. So his profile's growing. Even one of the winner of Bacoli and Kerbal are more than a deserved challenger.
Who do you feel wins between Bacoli and Kabayel?
Great fight, but I've said it for a bit. I think Bacoli is a problem for anyone in that heavyweight division. And I think Bacoli, a bit of size might come into it. And I'm going Bacoli. But I do think Kerbel's a very good fighter, good skills. Hits the body very well for an heavyweight, but yeah, I'm going to say Bacoli if they meet. Well, when they meet.
If Dubois gets past AJ or whoever's next for him and gets the winner of Fury Usyk, let's say Usyk comes out on top in December, how does Daniel Dubois beat Usyk in a rematch?
Well, like I said, I thought he had moments last time. He's certainly got the power to work any heavyweight on the planet. I think with this new found belief that I do believe he's had, I think he's an underdog, but I think he's a very live underdog, really live underdog. Listen, I think anyone who carries the power and that Daniel Dubois carries, and I think he's got a good engine. He's got a good engine also. Has more than a chance against any heavyweight in the world, especially someone who's a lot naturally bigger than. So it's no, I think it becomes a more interesting fight than the first one.
And just very lastly, let's say Fury comes out on top and Daniel Dubois wins his next fight as well, like the last one. Dubois versus Fury. How does that go?
Another battle of Britain, isn't it? It's I think listen, it's hard to say without seeing how Tyson Fury is going to look in this rematch. Listen, if we're going off when they sparred years ago, by all accounts, and I don't really like spars, Tyson Fury was very comfortable with him, but he knew he was a good heavyweight back then. But Daniel was a boy, he really was. So it's you after last time out, Daniel Dubois, you've got to give him a chance. I know he lost to Usyk with any heavyweight on the planet, and that includes Tyson Fury. I think you respect that, but I think when Tyson's got that bit of a fear factor, he produces the best out of him. It really does. So on me, I'd make Tyson a favourite, but it's that could all change in 6 months' time.
Just very, very quickly, there's my last one. Fury versus Usyk 2 in December. Obviously, you mentioned Tyson being better when
Yeah.
there's a fear factor. How does the rematch play out in your opinion?
It's so what I saw Tyson Saturday night when I was working the TV.
Hmm.
He looks very well. He looks miles better, and it does seem like his head's on it. I think he can put it right. I think he can put it right. I think he will put it right. I won't be surprised if we see number three. Really won't be surprised if we see number three between them both. What Tyson last time, it looks as if he had the fight won. And then whether he just took his foot off the gas, got a bit complacent, I don't know. But then one thing about Oleksandr Usyk, he finds a way to win. Is for me, be look on about his feet for a big guy. But for me, it's probably his most impressive sort of what I think his biggest asset that he's got is versatile and adaptability. He finds a way to win. He does that. So, and that's what he done that night when it looked like it was gone. I think we'll see Tyson hit the body that little bit more as well. I do, but listen, it's a tough fight.
Well, Anthony, thank you very much for your time, top man, and
Thanks
hopefully
for
we get to catch
having
up again
us,
soon.
mate.
Cheers, thank you very
Thank you
much.
for having us, mate.